Well, hello, guys. We are going to build a proof of concept application for a client that came to me and seeing you're working on your dissertation. Is that right?
Yeah. Just
Is
finishing
there
off.
anything that you'd like to say about what you're using this for, um, or anything
Uh,
that you'd like to say from the get-go?
so it's just about my dissertation. Really. We had to investigate a problem within relatively to our workplace. So introduce a QR prescription collection locker to replace this traditional uh, collection method. So this is just tying up my investigations just to create a proof of concept of the locker.
Okay, very good. Having sex issues. Oh, if you guys just get going. So you needed a feature that basically had to codes, right?
Yeah.
So, so would you like to do this case here? This is at you came up to tell you did a great job with this. This is tons more than I typically for a project for you, you know a
Oh.
just to would you like to walk through?
So I didn't familiar with the input locker we have the so it's going to work essentially exactly. So there will be two access sites on this application.
Mhm.
So the doctor will be able to edit the sites, generate a prescription, and then send the patient a notification that it's been generated along with a QR code. The patient then will receive the and then be able to QR code to the locker, present the QR code, and it should trigger the locker and the prescription should be inside. So that's the
So I've pulled up this particular screen. So this says the patient access home screen, and we'll have your logo here. And so this is the main feature that you wanted to implement in the app, right? So collect a prescription via a locker. So that's interesting. So they would go in, they would scan a QR code, and then the locker would open, right?
yeah, it triggers
Yeah, that's really cool. So they would scan the QR code with their phone, and then the locker would open up.
yeah.
And it looks like this is the patient collection screen. So they would collect the prescription from the open locker.
Yeah. The process there.
And then you also have screens for the staff.
Yeah.
So this is for prescription management, staff only. And they could generate a prescription. They've got a prescription list, and then they have a dashboard.
Yeah. So it's the list of prescriptions that are generated. And then the dashboard, the thinking behind that was insights to see whether there's any ideas that people click more. Yeah.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, so we have to do different details. So that's the form. So search for the patient, put the name, the dose, the medication, and treatment.
And here, the QR code would be generated and sent to the patient to their email address. Okay. Now, this is a prescription listing screen. So I would imagine some type of a listing with these headers at the top where they could, scroll through and perhaps, I guess, pick up a prescription. And let's see what's in this following screen here. So this is a dashboard screen. to show insights, probably some metrics of some sort to visualize the number of prescriptions collected over different periods of time. Okay. And then what I love about this project, you actually have some great looking logos, and you also have a color palette. That's something else that I'm not. I would love that any potential client that comes to me that wants an app built, that they already have all these things already ready to go, like you've put out here. So let's see what is at the end. So you also have an ERD diagram, which I loved. And I recreated a lot of this morning in a tool that I like to use here on the channel. Let me pull that up. And so this is almost exactly what you have. I've got all the relationships there. And I made it in a way so that people could actually look at this ERD diagram if they'd like. So I'm going to share the link to this. And something that I also do during these live streams, I like to make sure that I respond to some of the comments that are coming. Audio on my end is bad. I'm getting an echo from Cian. It's just on my end, or I wonder. Yeah, it seems like whenever you talk, like the first half a second is clear, and then like if you're saying a sentence, it's like really sort of garbled. So I don't know if there's anything that you can do on your end to sort of help that. But let's see here. Jason says, Darren, you are clear. Okay, so we'll just do our best with what we got here. And okay, so here's an ERD diagram. Now I also started to create some notes, and I'm going to bring those up here. And I typically create these in order to share the notes. Okay, so here I've got the ERD diagram, and here are the hex codes for your colors. Okay, I also probably need to publish all of this. So let me do that real quick. Very good. And in one moment, I will share that link. So we've got, it'll be under sample projects, and it's called a QR code proof of concept. All right. And I will share that here. Okay, very good. Let me make sure. Okay, so now do you guys hear echo whenever I talk? I definitely want to resolve that. For some reason, I'm having all kinds of technical issues this morning, so thanks for bearing with me, guys. Let's see if there's any other. Okay. And so they're saying there's an echo whenever you talk. Now, do you have the YouTube window open at as well? That might cause an echo.
Okay. I did.
Oh, okay. So yeah, if you could either mute that or close that down, that might get rid of the echo. So guys, is the echo gone? Hopefully so. If not, let us know. All right. So let me show you what I've done so far, Cian. So I've got a screen where I sort of map out all of the colors and everything that is needed for an application. And so I've got your logo here. I'm going to go ahead and hit run. And the font that I typically use for my applications, this is called, I think it's called Dancing Script. You either typically love it or hate it. So this is your app. So you tell me, do you like that font, or would you like me to change it up for you?
I do like it.
You like it? Okay, very good.
But the only thing I would say is because there's so many users, is it completely clear for users. But I do like it. It's my preference. I just wonder if yeah.
Okay. All right. So yeah, we do have your logo there, and I've got all of your, your color palette, all the hexadecimal codes I brought in, and then we've got a home screen, and we could just sort of start from here if you'd like. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Now I'm going to go to the top, and we'll just start from the top and go down here. So what you'd like is the logo right there in the middle of the screen, right? And then we could put in a prescription, your number one prescriptions. Okay, so that's like a tagline, right? So let's put these things in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy, let's say, this label here. We'll need a label. I'll paste it there. And let's also bring over the logo. And let's make it bigger. Now, do you like how that looks? Should it be smaller or larger?
Looks good.
Looks good. Okay, very good.
Sorry, I'm cautious to speaking because of my echo.
Oh yeah, you're good. Okay, so Jason says her echo is still there, but not quite as bad as it was. So hopefully it's manageable. So I'm going to go ahead and type that in, or actually probably copy and paste would probably be the easiest way. And it looks like we would want that to be center justified. And then I'm going to make this font perhaps a little bigger, maybe a 20 point. Okay. And then what you have are these two rectangles here. Now, did you imagine these just being buttons?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so we'll go ahead and do that. So I'm going to bring over a button here. And I'm going to go down to my screen called Copy Controls from here. And I will copy the buttons from there and paste them on the screen. And so the first button will say Patient Access Area. And let's make that a bit bigger. And I'll copy and paste that. And then we'll also have a button for Staff Site Access Area. Okay. Now, go make sure that they're center aligned. Now, do you like how this all looks here?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Now, I did notice, now you gave me two different logos. Now, in some cases, one logo might look better over the other. So let me go find this. So this one might be nice in that it doesn't have any background color. Let me see if I can. I'll copy that. I'll bring up Paint. And I'd sort of like to show it to you and see what you think of it. And I'm going to save this as a PNG. PNG. Look over to multimedia. I'll upload something here, the new one, and hopefully it doesn't look like it has a transparent background, which I can fix. And how I will do that is I use a tool called Canva. And let me see, custom size. Let's go with Frame size, and we will say 3,000 by 2,000. Okay. And I'll show you what I'm working with here. So this is a very popular tool for creating images. Now I do hear an echo. Oh, that's weird. All right. So I'm going to make this larger. And then what I'll do is I'll click on Edit Image. And let's remove the background color out of that. I'll download that. I'll say transparent background. Okay. And I'll save this. All right. Okay. Yeah. Now, you tell me which one you like better. Do you like the one with the transparent background? Now, there's not a lot of contrast between the yellow, but you tell me which one you like the best.
I don't know, actually. I do like the transparent background.
Yeah, okay.
I do like the, I don't know. I think with the navy background, it stands out more. It's more.
Yeah, it does.
You can see.
Yeah. All right. Now, something I always like to do is with this logo, with that background, we could do something a little different. Like, so that's the body background. Let's go with primary dark. And then for these buttons, we could say secondary light, which I believe is, oh. Now, what do you think of this direction? Do you like that? Of course, we would change out the buttons so they would look better. Do you like this direction, or do you like what we had before?
Yeah, no, I think that looks good, actually. I like that.
Okay, fantastic. And to be honest, whenever I work on an app like this, I spend a lot of time. Sometimes people might think I spend too much time on this type of stuff, but I think visuals are really important. That an application looks really nice. All right, so I'm going to grab that, put that in there. Okay. Okay. I always like to try to center things as much as possible. So here we go. Now you will get a copy of this, so you're more than welcome after we're done here to go in here and tweak and change anything that you'd like. Okay, so it looks like this first screen is done, unless there's anything you'd like to change about it.
No, and then, thank you.
What's that?
I just said it looked brilliant. Thank you.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, so now we'll create a login screen. Okay, so we have this home screen here, and let's go ahead and duplicate this screen. Sometimes that's the best thing to do if we like what we currently have. And so we've got the logo. I might move this logo up because I think we're going to need a little bit more room. And for this one, we'll say, welcome back. And I'll move that up. And then I've got some other screens that I like to pull things from. So let's see here. This might be something good to pull from. So we'll need a username and a password. Okay. Let me get all of these things. So we get that color value. Let's say FX, input background. That should be it. And whenever somebody tries to log in, we'll call this the login screen. Okay, very good. Now I'm going to add a container here. And then the background color for this, make that FX input background. Okay. And move these buttons down. And let's go get a button for login. And I think I'm going to copy all four of these, just to see which one we like the best. Okay, we'll put those in there. Let's do buttons up. Okay. Now, which one of these 4 buttons do you like the best for the actual login button?
I think either the mustardy yellow or the one above.
Okay, so one of these two? Okay, very good. I'm going to cut these and put them over here. Well, we can just go ahead and delete those. Okay, now one of these buttons in your wireframe, you've got a login button. Would you also like to have a cancel button or like a back button to go back to the home screen?
Yeah.
Or you just want one button?
No, I think it would be sensible to have the back button.
It'd be best with 2 or 1?
2.
2. Okay, very good. And then I'll move these around just a little bit here. Make sure this is, yeah, I think that was centered. Very good. I'll go back over to the screen where we've got all of our controls already styled. So we're going to need 2 text boxes, 2 labels at the very least. So I'll click in there and I'll paste those. Okay, for this one we'll say username, and we'll right justify that. And then let's make this more like 200, and we'll move it to the side. Now let's make sure this looks right when we sort of scroll into this, zoom in. Okay, so we'll take that text out. We've got username, and on the right side, let's have something at least 10 pixels as padding. Okay, I'll copy and paste that. Okay, and the second one will be for their password. And then for this text box, there's actually a mode that we can pick called password. So if we were to start typing in here, we've got those little dots. Now this little icon that shows up here, that is a feature of Edge. So if you use Chrome, that won't be there, just in case you don't like that, the look of that. So if I click on it, typically let's see here. Yeah, we do have a clear button that we could add in there. Okay, this is fine for now, I think. And I'll take out these buttons. Okay. So would you like the login button to be the yellow one or the blue one?
The blue one, I think.
The blue one? Okay, very good. So we'll say login. And then the yellow one will say, do you want this to say back or do you want it to say cancel or something else?
Back, I think. Yeah, back.
Very good. Okay, so within Power Apps, we can have the user go back by simply going in here and using a function called back. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in a little bit more so everybody can see this a bit better. And let's go full screen. That might help things out a little bit more as well. Okay. And then I like what you have here. You've got a label near the bottom just in case they forgot their password. So let's put this in. Forgot password, question mark. And then probably need to make it wider, like 300. Okay. And now we do have it italicized, so we'll do that. Okay. And whenever I design a user interface, I always try to make it so that nothing sort of seems like it's scrunched in or anything. But you let me know what you think. Is there anything that you'd like me to change on this for you?
I don't think so. It looks brilliant.
Okay, great. Okay. I love that the use of the word brilliant here in the United States. We say, "Oh, that looks cool," you know. I love the word brilliant. I'll have to start using that more. Okay, so the next screen. Okay, so we have another. I'm gonna show the viewers what we have. So we've got a login screen here. This is the patient login screen. And then down here, we have a staff login screen. Now, would you like to have two separate screens or would you like one screen to handle both?
I'm not sure. Just
What's that?
they could do, but they're going to be accessing two different parts of the app, so it's whatever's.
Yeah, so typically when I build applications, whenever somebody is trying to log in, I look in the database and I see what type of user they are. And they'll be in the database either as a staff member or a patient. And then based on who they are, then I would direct them to a different screen based on that. Do you like that idea?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, very good. So we'll put some logic in there that will handle that. Okay. And I think right now what we'll do is if they use the username of patient, then I'll treat them as a patient. If they type staff here. Now you tell me if that, because I know that you've got to do a presentation on Wednesday. Would something like that be okay? So if they say patient, and we could say patient 01 or 002 or something like that. But if there's the word patient in there, I would know that they're a patient and I could forward them to a different screen. In a real application, I would have a database. Now we could still create a database. That's no problem at all. But I was just trying to think of something good for a proof of concept, you know?
Yeah. So, it'd be great to have it hooked up to a database.
Okay, very good. Let's do that then. So I'm going to get out of this. And what I'm going to do is Now, is there any particular database that you're used to that you would like to use, like a SharePoint list, Dataverse, SQL Server?
I've used SQL in the past, but I've got no preference, whatever.
Okay, very good. Now, with Power Apps, most people use a SharePoint list because it doesn't need a premium license, and it's probably the easiest thing to create. And now, answer me this question. Do you have your own Microsoft tenant set up? Like, do you have Power Apps? Like, do you have a personal environment that you could use, or is that provided by your school?
No, well, it's my work.
Okay. So you
So
have a
yeah,
work account that's got all
yeah,
this. Okay, very good. Um, all right. So, and do you have access to SharePoint by any chance?
yeah.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, now I do have, let's create a new site. How about that? Create a new site here. And we'll create this guy. We'll use this template. And we'll call this MediPoint. SharePoint. Click next. And this doesn't make it public to the world, but I'll go ahead and create this site, add members, make sure that I am an owner of the site so I can fully control it and create lists and things that we need. And it looks like it's applying the template. So it looks like Kenneth joined us. He says, King of Forms here. Yeah, Kenneth always likes to use forms for some reason. Yeah. Okay, looks like we have this. Very good. Now, when I looked at your ERD diagram, something that I added in each of these tables is something called title. And title is something that SharePoint likes to add for any SharePoint list or database table for our purposes. So I added that. And then we could go into site contents. All right. And I'm going to add a new list. And let's see here. We do have, let me open up this Word document here. And I'm going to go down to your ERD diagram. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to try to, something that I didn't think of doing is turning down my my audio for my screen share. Maybe that will take, maybe the echo was my fault because I was sharing the audio from my screen share. Did that help out with the echo at all, guys? Hopefully it did. Okay, so we've got the patient here. Now we've got doctors. Now, will there be other staff besides doctors using the application? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, sorry. What
Okay,
did you say?
very
Sorry.
good. Yeah, what I was asking, in your ERD diagram, we don't have like a user table. And I was wondering if, like, the staff members, are there staff members that are not doctors, or are they all doctors?
Well, realistically, in the real world, you're not going to have the doctors doing all this. But I think for simplicity and just to show the kind of workflow, we'll just restrict it to doctors.
Okay.
Yeah, but in real life, you would need the dispensary staff to be actually most of this. But for simplicity, we'll just keep it as doctors.
Okay. And we also need to keep track of when the patients log in as well. So something that might be helpful, I'll add a new table here. And let's just call this app user. Okay, and I like the fact that you created all these tables as singular, which is I believe that's a good practice for database design, because each record would represent one, in this case, user or patient, delivery, so on and so forth. So what I'm going to do here for app user is I'm going to add a column that will have a title, and then we'll also have, let's put in an email address, and we could use that email address to link up. Let's say for the doctors, we should have an email address here. Because email addresses are unique, they don't make for a bad foreign key. Now, typically, I always want to use the primary key in the table that it's pointing to, but in the case of emails, it just sort of makes it more readable. So if I have an item here for app user and it points to something else, instead of having like a number like 1001, it would have their email address, and it just seems to be provide a better use in knowing who that is rather than having to look it up. So we've got app user here. Now we should probably keep track of, is it okay to use their email address as their login?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Glad to hear that. So that will be their login. And then we'll also put in here the password. Okay. I think I'll try to zoom out a little bit, because what I'm going to do here for the email is this thing will reference, that email address, and that will be a one-to-one relationship. And then for this email, this will also be a one-to-one relationship. Okay. Okay, that looks a little better. Okay. We should also keep track of what type. So we'll say user type. And I know for all these fields, I'm just putting this as big int. But the user type will be a string. So we could put in there staff, doctor, patient, everything that we'd like there. All right, so let's go. I'm going to save this, and then I'm going to pull this ERD diagram up because I need to create all these tables here in SharePoint. So we'll create a new list called app user. Create that. Now, have you ever created SharePoint lists like this before?
No, I haven't.
Okay. So in order for this to work for you on Wednesday, you'll need to create these SharePoint lists so that whenever you upload and install this, that it has the database that it's looking at. And what's great about it is you also have this whole video recording, so you'll see exactly how I set it up. All right, so I'm going to go over here to list settings. Now an app user, now you see we already have a title. Now let's add a new column for the email. So I'll type in email. I'll scroll down to the bottom and hit OK. Next, we need a password. So I'm going to click on Create Column again. Password, scroll down, hit OK. And we'll add one more item here called user type. Okay, so now that that is created, what I can do over here in my Power Apps application is I can go reference that and pull in that data source. So I'm going to click on Data Sources. I'll click on Add Data. I'll click on Connectors, and I'll go search for SharePoint. And if it gives you multiples, just click on the first one. I don't think it really matters which one to click on. Now I'm looking for the MediPoint SharePoint list. And in order to get a good URL for it, what I do is always click on this little square here. So I'll click on that. And sometimes I'll click on it a second time and it'll give me a shorter URL. And I'll copy that. And I'll paste it there. Click connect. Hey, there's our app user. I'll click on the button connect and that will pull that data source in. Okay. And let's, I'm going to add a screen that the users will not see. We're just going to use this to add in a little bit of test data. So I'm going to insert a button here. And what I'm going to do is I'll take a I'll take a tip from Kenneth, who likes to use forms all the time. So I'm going to type in form, and I'm going to say edit form. Okay. And for the data source, we'll pick that new data source, app user. And we'll use just one column, and we'll remove any columns that we really don't need. And we'll set this up to be, the default mode will be new. And this button will just say submit. Okay, very good. And this button, it will do a submit form. And our form is called Form 1. It's the first one that we added. Okay. And then after we submit it, we'll do a new form. Form 1. Okay, this will allow us to enter some data for the users. So let's put in here Darren, and let's put in here Darren at niece.us. And for a password, we're going to say 2 dots. And we should probably set that, I mean, the users aren't going to see this, so it really doesn't matter. We could set it to password if we wanted, if we didn't want to see the password here on the screen. Now for the user type, let's say staff. Okay. And I clicked on the button. Now I think the form is on top of it. So I think that's what's not allowing me to click on that. Let's try this again. Bring the front. There we go. All right. And now we will add one. Yeah. So a lot of people are really liking this this example. Anubis says, this is amazing and a topic I'm really interested in. Very cool. Now for the second user, I'm going to say Cian, and I'm going to say cian@gmail.com. I know that's not your email. And I'm going to give you a password of 2 dots, and we'll make you a staff member as well. Okay, now let's add 2 patients. So I'm going to say patient 01 @gmail.com, and we'll give the password of 2 dots, and we'll say patient patient 02. Okay, there we go. So now we should have some good test data in our database. So if I go over to the SharePoint list, I'll click on App User, and we'll make sure that we have some data there. And we do. Okay, So there are people's names, their email addresses, their passwords, and also the types. Okay, so let's test out this login screen. For the home screen, what we're going to do for both of these buttons, we should probably navigate or have the user go to a different screen. So we'll use that navigate function, and then we will say login screen. There we go. Okay, so if they click on the button, it will take them here. And the back button just goes back to the previous. Okay. So far it's looking good. And then when they click on the login, what we want to do is we want to go get the information for that particular login. So I'm going to use a with block. And inside the with block, I'll have some curly braces. There we go. Now let's go get, I'll call this my user, and we'll go do a lookup on app user, and we'll look for the email address equals. Now we've got a little text box here that we could use. We should probably rename this text box to txt. User email, and for the password we should probably call this txt user password. Very good. Txt user email dot text. Okay, very good. And then we need to have an if statement. And we need to check to see if their password is right. So we'll say if my user dot password equals whatever they typed in to user password dot text. If that is true, then we want to do a navigate. Otherwise, we'll say notify, and we'll say login failed, and we'll say notification type error, and we'll have that pop up for a good, I don't know, at least 3 seconds, which is 3,000 milliseconds. Okay, so we'll do that there. And then if my user dot user type, if it is staff, then we'll navigate. And I don't think we've created that screen yet. Let me get out of full screen mode here, and let's look at your wireframe. So right after the login screen, we'll have, so this is the patient access home screen, and then the staff screen looks very similar. So we've got a logo, a title, and 3 buttons. So let's create a screen that's got that. And I think what I'll do is I will duplicate this home screen, and we'll call this patient home screen. And then I think for here what I'll do is app.activescreen.name, so we know what screen we're on, at least for now. And then I'll duplicate this screen, and this one will be called staff home, home screen. Okay. And we'll move this login screen up, because I always like to have the screens in the same order that they'll be used in the application. Just keeps things straight in my head. So if they're a staff member, we will say staff home screen. That looks good. Now, if they're not a staff, then that means they are a patient. So we will say navigate to the patient home screen. Okay. And I'm going to log on as myself here. And let's see what my email address is there. There's my email address. I'm going to copy that, paste that in there. I want to put 2 dots, and I'll click login. Let's see if this works. Staff home screen. Okay. That looks good. Now I can click home, and we can try that. Let's try to log on as a patient now. Now, something that probably should happen whenever this screen loads up is that these 2 text boxes should probably be reset, I would imagine. So I'm going to go into advanced for the screen, and in the on visible, let's open this up. So there is a function called reset, and we'll call it for txt user email. And then we'll also do the same thing for txt user password. So if we go to a different screen, you'll see that the username and the password is now reset. Now the patient email, patient01@gmail.com. Everybody's password are 2 dots. Now I click on login. Notice it says patient home screen. You like that?
Yeah, it looks really good.
Very good. Yeah, so that login screen will handle all types. Okay. Very good. So we've got that. Let's go back up to what we had before. So now we got the patient and the staff login screen. And for both of the home screens, we need to have 3 buttons here. So we'll start off with the patient screen. Okay. And I'm going to change the text to what you have in your wireframes, which is what can we help with today? Very good. And we do need a 3rd button. Okay. Now the first button will say that. Oh, I've got more than one button selected. Okay. Now on the right and the left, let's put 15, so that looks a little better. So collect a prescription from the locker via QR code. Okay, so we've got that. And then we've also got order a new prescription. Okay, and the 3rd one is view order history. Okay, very good. Now, does that look great to you? Is there anything that you'd like me to modify about this?
No, it looks brilliant.
Okay, great.
It's cool.
I like brilliant better. That's great. All right. Now let's go on and I'm going to go look up the staff screen. And the staff screen, okay, let me go there. Now what I'll do is I'll copy these 3 buttons. I'll delete those 2 buttons. I'll paste that in there. And then on your wireframe, you've got prescription management, staff only. So I will put that in there if I can get it to come up. There we go. Okay. There we go. And for these 3 buttons, we've got generate prescription. So I'll paste that in there. We've got prescription list. Got that in there. Dashboard, very good. Okay. So on the patient home screen, what you were telling me was that this is the main feature that you wanted to have. And now that button goes over to the QR code screen. And let me create the QR code screen by, I think I'll duplicate this one. And we'll call this QR scanning screen. Now I am going to grab a little screenshot of the QR code that you have here. Now, is that a QR code that you created, or where does that QR code go to, Dee?
No, it was just for reference for patients. So yeah, it's not. It was just copied and pasted from. I think it was It's no.
So whenever you do your presentation on Wednesday, did you want to scan the QR code that's in the app and have it go somewhere, or they won't be able to see your phone anyway?
It'd be amazing if they could, but I know because it would have to relate to the QR code that is sent from the doctor, because the doctor would create that QR code and send it via email to the user, which then they would present.
Yeah, let me see if I can do something inside the app that would generate the QR code. That would be sort of nice, right? And what we'll do now, that QR code has, let's go to our ERD diagram here. Where did I put that? Oh, here it is. Okay, so that QR code, does it, I'm sure it has to do with a prescription, or would that be a delivery? It looks like you have a QR code field there.
Yeah, be the prescription. Yeah, the delivery. Yeah.
Okay.
It'd be the prescription, but it's related. It's the delivery. Yeah.
Okay, very good. Now I do have a URL that might work great for generating a QR code. And I'm going to create a new screen just to sort of test this out a little bit. Now I'm going to make this, give this a little bit darker of a color. And I'm going to use an image control to drop this over. And for the image, I've got a URL here. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a text input. And that would be txt QR link. And what we'll do here, I think for now, I'm going to use something like, I don't know, google.com. I just want a valid URL to use for this, just to test it out. And we'll paste that in there, .text. Okay. And I think I do have, yeah, encode URL. There we go. That's the function that was needed. Look at that. So this is the QR code for Google, google.com.
Okay.
Okay. So, okay. Well, that's interesting. So whenever they scan that QR code, there's going to need to be a URL that comes up that activates and talks to your locker system. And right now that system doesn't exist, right?
Yeah.
So we'll generate something like this along with this, something that having to do with the delivery. And then if this was a real app, you would need something out there on the internet that would respond to somebody going to that URL that would interact with that locker system. Okay, very good. So for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this image. And this is the QR scanning screen. So this is a real QR code. Okay. And if you ever want to change that QR code, we could just go to screen 3 and just type in a different URL and it would be different. So if I went in here and said msn.com, there we go. There's a different one.
Okay, interesting.
What's that?
That's interesting. Yeah. You can just input the URL and get the QR code.
Yeah. Sometimes my my camera does some weird things. I have to turn it off and turn it back on here. Let's see if I can get this to work again. Maybe not. Let's see. There we go. There we go. I'm back. I'm going to wire just to make sure everything almost exactly like how I had it. So some text here that says, please scan your QR low. There. And I up and then but I'll have underneath our back. So that put your wireframe, and then you have the work here. And move this up so they have a decent size. There we go. Button there. Let's see if we can. There we go. Is there anything that you'd like to touch on this?
No. So that QR code, the patients, they won't be scanning that QR code. They'll be presenting their QR code to the scanner that they've got on their phone.
Okay.
Sorry.
So they've got this app on their phone, and no. Okay.
No. So they would just have an email with the QR code.
Okay.
And then the staff member would generate the QR code within the app.
Okay.
So then it's used as an authentication kind of. So then, the staff member would generate the QR code for that prescription, to access that prescription. It's emailed to the patient. The patient has then got it on their phone. They physically come to the locker, where there'd be a scanner on the locker, and present their phone with the QR code on their phone. And that would authenticate then the locker opening.
Okay. So the scanner is a part of the locker system, right? And they just pretty much display the email that's on their phone.
Yeah.
and then that would open up. Okay, so that makes sense. Very good. So let me get out of this. Okay, now you do have something in here that I need to add, which is a message near the bottom. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste this, put it at the bottom. I'm going to make it italicized and perhaps make that a little smaller. There we go. And what we have is having trouble scanning the QR code. Okay. All right, very good. So we got that screen done. Now we've got a patient collection screen. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to duplicate this screen, and we'll call this patient collection. Okay. And here we've got the logo. We've got something that says, no, we don't need the QR code on this screen. Oh. That was weird. Okay. I am going to copy and paste that. And it looks like here at the top, what we'll do is we will have this primary light. And it looks like it's in bold. It's a bit bigger. And it should say QR code authentication success. Okay, there we go. Now, do you like that in yellow, or would you like it to be like this blue color or something else?
No, I think yellow is good. It's stands out. Very and good. It's the process has ended, so yeah.
Great. All right, so we've got some text here. I'm going to paste in this label. Okay, please collect your prescription from the open locker. Okay. And then at the bottom, we'll have a message that says, please click here if there are issues with your prescription. And then we'll have a button here in the middle that says return to home page. And let's make this a bit wider. Okay, do you like how this all looks? Is there anything you'd like to change?
Good. Looks really good.
Looks good?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah. Or shall I say brilliant?
Yeah.
All right. So we got that one done. We're making good progress here. Okay, so let's go back over to the staff access home screen. And that's this. We got generate prescription. Okay. And then what we need to do is work on the generate prescription screen. Okay. So I'll duplicate this screen here. And we'll call this generate prescription screen. We already have the logo. Put that up here. Okay. And we've got prescription management staff only. And let's make sure this image is centered. Okay. Now I'm going to bring this wireframe down so everybody can see this. So this patient search, do you want this to be a place where they search by name, email address? Is there, so they would type something in here and then maybe hit a button that says search, or what would you like to have happen here?
Yes, they would search by name. But really, this should be a bit more like security. This should be a bit more validation, really. But yeah, I think just to just search by name.
Okay. Very good. So now there is a compact way of doing a search, and that's with the control called a combo box. So I'll sort of demonstrate that. You tell me if you like this or not. There's actually, let me get rid of that one. Let me go get one that's got all of our theming intact, which is right here. Let's copy that one. Generate prescription. Okay. And I think what we'll need is some type of container. One of these we had a container. I think it was the login screen. That might work out really well. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that. I'll paste it here. And of course we don't need all this. We might need a label. Okay, so I'll put in here patient search. And I'll move it up here. And we might end up moving all this stuff around quite a bit here in a few minutes. So okay, let me think here. What I'm going to do in order to be able to search through names, I'm going to add in something called Office 365 users, and I'm going to use this in order to search for people. And for the items, I'm going to say search user. And we're going to do a search for, we have a search term, and we'll say self dot allow multiple selection. No, we only want to pick one patient. Allow searching, yes. And using the combo box isn't something I use every day. So what I'm going to do is bring up one of my other applications where I did exactly what we need right here. And it's going to save us a lot of time. Okay. One of the applications that I built here on this channel was a ticketing system, and it's got a lot of these type of features in that. So that's what I'm bringing up right now. Okay, very good. And here are some combo boxes. And so what we have, this is exactly what I wanted. So I'll copy that text and I'll use it right here. And that will give us exactly what we want. So now we're searching for there's one more property that I need to update, which is these fields. We don't want to search on city. Let's go with their display name. Very good. Okay. And I'll do a search for Darren. Oh, look at that. There's Darren. So you can select a patient that way. Do you like that?
Yeah, no, that's good.
Okay, very good. Okay, so we have that. Let me pull up your wireframes here. Okay, so once a patient is selected, we're going to have some prescription details. So will the staff member or perhaps a physician, what type of fields? Will they just be typing in a medication name and strength in one text box? And so we got 4, and then this would be a button. So is that what you want, like 4 pieces of information they type in and then hit that button there?
Okay. Yeah.
Great.
There's probably a lot more, but for simplicity, we'll just keep it to the basics.
Yeah, this is great for a proof of concept. You know, people get the idea once they see these screens. It's like, okay, I could see how that would work. I'll go down to copy controls from here. And I'm going to go grab, probably that text box right there is going to work out great. Okay. Now, see in your wireframe, you've got 2 sets to sort of separate the patient and their details. Now, what we could do, something that it might look nice, is a rectangle. You can do a lot of, no, I think I picked a container instead. Let me go in here. There we go. There's the rectangle. And then we can make this as thin as we want. But then the color that we can use will be based on our color palette. And perhaps we'll take a look at and use the secondary dark, unless you'd like to use any other color here as a separator. Okay. So I'm going to say GBL theme, and we'll say secondary dark. And then for the width, what we'll say is parent.width and subtract self.x times 2. Okay. And it looks like a bit much, I think. Now, keep in mind what you think of that one. Now let's go look at primary light. So we could put like a little
Yeah,
yellow
looks
line
nice.
there. Do you
Yeah,
like that?
yeah, I like that. Looks nice.
Okay, great. Fantastic. And then I'm going to move this over to align to that. Okay. And let's put in here. I'll make this primary dark and make this bold and you got prescription details. Okay, very good. Medication, name and strength. I need to make this a bit wider. Let's go with 220. Maybe 250. Nope. 260. There we go. Okay. We'll take that out. And then we got reason for medication. And these probably might look better if we do a right align. Okay. And then we got two more. And we'll put these over here. And hopefully we can make these. Yeah. Maybe like 200. Move these over. Okay. So we'll have treatment, duration. Then down here we'll have dose. Okay. And we've got our trusty back button that we'll put in the lower left. And then this one, it will be much wider because we got a lot of text to put in here. Let's say 450. And we'll say notify patient and generate QR code. Okay. Oh, you've got another button in here. Okay. So we need another button that says generate prescription.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. Just to save it, really.
Yeah. Now, would you like the same for that other button that needs to be in here? Would you like the same color as this, or would you like one of the dark blue for that
Dark
button?
blue, I think. So it's slightly different.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Do you like this top one or the bottom one?
Top one, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
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 Very good. So we'll paste that in here. And I need to make sure it's actually in that container. And let's see, let's play with the width here. Maybe 400. Yeah, 400, maybe even 390. No, that's not going to work out. 300 is. Okay. Generate prescription. Now, now in your, I'm going to bring up the wireframe. What you have is you have a button here on above this button. Now, would you like to stay with that, or would you like
No,
these buttons?
that's grand how it is. So it's displayed now. That's brilliant. It was just I just dumped on the screen when I did the wireframes, so it wasn't
Yeah.
logically placed.
Okay. And do you like the arrangement here with this button on the right and this one on the left?
Yeah, yeah. I think you would generate the prescription first, then go on to the. So yeah.
Okay, great. And I'll move this over a little bit. Okay. Yeah, it's looking pretty nice. I like the color theme that you came up with. Okay. And then let's look at the other screens that we have here. Okay. So this is Send QR generation notification screen. So this, of course, is for staff.
Yes.
And okay, so this is the screen that they would go to after they click on this generate prescription, right?
Well, yeah, they essentially mean the same thing. I don't know whether it's what you need to have. Basically, the generate prescription was kind of just the save those details,
Okay.
and then, but really, we could just put generate prescription and notify patient.
Okay. Very good. Let's do that. And notify patient. All right. So I am going to take this. I'm just going to make it invisible for now, just in case we want a nice light blue button in the future. Now I'll say 400 here, maybe 420. And then there we go. Now, do you like how that looks?
Yeah, really nice. Yeah.
Great. All right. So now we need to create another screen that's probably going to end up being similar to this one. So I'll duplicate this screen. Okay. And the name of this screen, this will be Send QR Generation Screen. Okay. And we've got prescription management staff only. So that's already there. Very good. And then we'll remove some. Whoa. That's weird that it did that. Okay. We don't need any search boxes here. And we've got, okay, patient name will be automatically populated as well as the patient email. Okay. So what I'll do with this thing here is I'll say patient details. Would that be okay?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, and then there will be the patient details, and I'll remove these. And then this button will say send patient notification and QR code. Look at that, and it fits in there just great. And because this is the only thing in here, we might want to center it. What do you think? Do you think the heading should be like this, or do you want it left aligned?
No, that looks grand.
Okay, great. So here I will say patient name with a colon, and we'll have patient email. Okay. Okay. Now what I'm going to do here is I want to make sure we've got some good patient data from the database. So what I'm going to do is I am going to go get, say, update context, use curly braces, and I'll say LOC patient, and that will be lookup app user, and we're going to look for one that's got the user type. If I'm not mistaken, that's what we called it. Yeah, user type. Okay. And then we could use that to actually populate that for us. So here in this text box, we could say LOC patient dot name. Yeah, there's patient 01. And then here we'll say email. Okay, so it's got the patient details, and it's automatically populated here. And we'll say
So
send patient.
is there because it's going to be related to the previous page, you know, the patients chosen. Is that?
Yeah. Okay. So what we should do is reference this here. Combo, and we'll call this the patient. Yeah, good point. Let's actually use that one, whichever one that was selected. And so for the patient name, what we'll do is we'll say selected dot display name. Here we go. And then we'll do something similar here. And then we'll say mail. And now we don't need that code here. So go ahead and comment that out. Very good. All right. That works even better. I like it. Now, do we have all the screens? No, we do have a prescription list screen.
Yeah, but to be fair, what we've got now is amazing. So we could just set them up, but not have much anything showing. Or we don't even need to set them up. They can be just non, because I think we've got enough to prove the proof of concept.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's up to you if you want to do the two others, but I think what we've got now is brilliant.
Okay. Well, I'll just let you know, I was going to make myself available to you for 3 hours. So it's completely up to you. I'm here for you in whatever you need. And I'm, to be honest, I'd be okay if we needed to go past the 3 hours, but we're only at an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So you tell me. And that's what we'll do.
If we can do the other two, that'd be brilliant. Yeah, amazing.
Okay.
Yeah,
fantastic. Yeah, I want to make sure you're happy and that you look great in your presentation on Wednesday.
And it's really interesting to see because I'd love to be able to make these apps. So it's interesting to see what functionality you can pull in these apps.
Absolutely. So this next screen we'll work on is the prescription list screen. Okay. And then we got the logo and a list of all prescriptions used. Okay. So I'm going to put that there, and then we're going to have a listing of the prescriptions there. So for this label, that there. Okay. Just in case we want a back button, we've got that there. And maybe we'll pull this up a little bit. Okay. Now, if we go over to copy controls from here, we've got some galleries already set up. So I'm going to copy this one. And then we'll go to prescription list screen. And I'll go into that container. I'll paste that gallery in there. Okay. and we may not want this back, but something that I put into all of my screens, if you look here, this little icon here allows you to go back, but I'll leave it up to you if you still want that back button there or not. But this will give us a little bit more room to see more information at once. Now let me, there we go. All right, so now I'm going to add in a container for all the headings for all the columns. So I'll drop a container in there, and let's use one of the colors from the theme. So we'll say GBL theme dot primary dark. There we go. And we'll bring that up there. Okay, let's go with secondary dark. That might look better. Gives us a little bit more contrast. Sort of switch it up a little bit. Now what we'll do here is we'll make this to be around 40. Okay. And then here in this header bar, we can add some labels. And what we'll do here, the first thing that you want to have displayed is the ID. Very good. And we'll make all of these white. And let's put in a little bit of a padding here on the left side. Maybe make it 10. Okay. Now, something that we'll do, let's add in some sample data. We should definitely put some sample data in here. So I'm going to go into formulas, and I'm going to say FX. This is going to be prescription. So prescription name, reason for medication. So this is going to be this one right here, prescription. I'll pull that up and look at it while we create some. Now there is a website out here. It's called Mockup. And if you go in here, let's see. Let's go to schemas, create a schema. And what we could do is you can go in and click on, let's say, health. Look at this, drug company, drug names. So we could actually generate, some good sample data based on medications. So that's available out there. And so I'm going to put that in the chat so everybody has that. Okay. I'm going to go into the app formulas, and we'll actually put this in here. We'll say prescription with 2 square brackets, and inside let's create some records here. So we'll say ID 1, and we'll say title, and we will let's see, how do I want to do this? We've got patient ID. Then we've got doctor ID, drug, date issued, let's say today. We'll have start date today, end date today, issues total, Now, issues total, is that going to be a whole number, an integer?
Yeah, whole number.
Very good. Issues taken. And is that an integer as well?
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. So at least we have something here. Now for the patient ID, we could actually make this. We go do. Because we have a search screen here, which is right here. So let me see if we could just make that whatever patient we have selected there. So selected. Yeah, that would be good. And then for this, we could go do a lookup on app user, where the user type is staff. You know, what we could do is we could go in and make you a doctor. And make this doctor. Okay. Now let's go look at drug names. Okay, so we'll do drug name, and I'm going to get out of these. Okay, so say drug name. Add another field. What other things can we do here? I was wondering if they had like prescription doses and things of that nature. It's got all these ICD codes, which are used a lot in healthcare. Okay, so we've got drug. Now the date issued, is that typically like a week ago, a month ago? Or would it be like yesterday or today or tomorrow?
Yeah, today. Yeah.
So using today.
Yeah, put today. Yeah, today.
Okay, what about the start date and end date? Just have some good sample data.
Well, start date would be today because it'd be issued today. Yeah. And then end date could be months away. Yeah.
Okay. So what I'll do here for the end date is I'll say date add. We'll take today as a reference, and we'll say maybe 3 months.
Yeah.
And let's say time unit months. Okay. Could you give me a good, you know what I could do? I could generate a random number here. Ran between. And give me like a range of numbers that would be used here.
3 and 12, I would say.
Okay. And what about issue taken?
Between 1 and 12.
12?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because so the issues total is, it's like how many you can have of that prescription. So monthly.
Okay.
How many months you can have it for. So issues total, like if you can only have it for 1 year, you can, the total number of issues is 12.
Okay.
And then issues taken. So I don't know if it's necessary really. It's a bit too enhanced really for this. It's a bit too complex for this, for just the model really, for the demonstration.
Okay. All right, very good. So I'll leave it like that.
Yeah.
Um, and then what I want to do is I want to make sure I've got some good drug names. So what I'm going to do is I'll take out that field and let's generate some data. And I'm going to open that. I wonder what app it's going to open it in. Okay, this is good. Uh-huh. All right, it gave me 1,000 drug names. Okay, so I'll say FX drug names and I need to create a new screen because I need to generate some code real quick. And what I'm going to do is I'll bring over a text box and we'll make this paste all that in. Now, this text box should be multi-line. Now, this isn't something a user will see. Okay. I actually want that data in there. Okay. And it looks like if the drug name has a comma, it sort of messes the CSV format that we have there. So I just want to make sure we don't have any more. I guess here's one. Okay, and I think we only have one more that we need to do. Let's go with this. And there's one more. Okay. All right, that works. Now it looks like we still have one more error. Which, okay, there it is. It keeps on finding one more. Okay, now I think we're good. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy and paste that. And I'm going to reference that text box. And I'm going to say dot text. And I'm going to say we need to do a split on the contents of that text box based on a carriage return line feed. Okay, that will do a split for us. And then we'll do a for all based on that. And then in here, I'm going to say with and let's call this my ID as my ID will be my dot value, but we'll do an index 1 dot value. Then we'll do a split on this one based on comma. There we go. Dot value. And now we'll do something similar for the drug name. In here we'll say 2. Okay. Now let's see what the error is. Expected a text value. That should go, okay. And for every item, we're going to loop through. And I'll say my ID. And then my drug. Expected a text value. All. Now if I said my and commented out this, my dot value doesn't seem to like that. Okay. Here we go. I'll use that. Let's get rid of that. And we'll do a clear collect COL drugs. And that's the value we'll put in there. Bring over a button. Oh, I need to do a collect. Here we go. Okay. So now we have an array of drugs that we can pull from. Okay. So now that we have that, I'm going to put that in the app on start, so I know that that's there. And I'll put it at the bottom there. Okay. And I'll also do well, I don't need to do a clear there, but okay. So this will set us up with some test data so that screen looks right. So that's why I'm doing all this. So the drug, we will do a index on COL drugs. And then we will look at a rand between using a 1, and then the count rows of that collection. And then dot value. Okay, so we've got that. We've got a doctor assigned. We have a patient assigned. And in the title, if I look at the wireframes here, okay, we got the patient, prescription name, reason for medication, issued by, okay. So will this screen I'm going to pull up, is this only for the patient that we selected? Or it will be for all the patients? I don't hear anything. By any chance, are you muted?
Sorry, I muted myself before when I coughed. Yeah, in my head, but I don't know, it was just, I probably not thought it through properly. In my head, it was just all prescriptions, but I suppose you would need to filter on like a certain day, or because obviously in time it will be a horrendous list. So yeah, in my head, it was all prescriptions, not specific to a patient.
Okay. Yeah, so let me, so I'll need to generate some good data here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into app on start, and I'm going to do something similar here where I will do a for all, and let's do a sequence of 100. So I at least have 100 items there. And then what we'll do is we will do a collect COL prescriptions. Okay. And for this, oh, I need a semicolon right there. That's what's causing that. Okay. And then here, what I'm going to say is this record dot value for that. And because we don't have anything in the title, I'm going to go ahead and put that in there. Okay. And then we have the doctor ID. Okay. So I will get this collection name here. I'll do a clear. Okay. And I'm going to hit run on start. And then we'll go back to that screen where we've got a gallery. And we'll just use that collection. Okay. Look at that. We have some good data. All right. So we've got all kinds of stuff. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is have an ID. Okay, so there's our ID. And then I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And we got this label. So we'll say LBL heading 1. So we'll call that. And then over here for the width of this, I want it to have the same width as the heading. Okay, so that's there. And let's make this 50 for that container, and the Y for this gallery to be the same thing as the height of the heading container. Okay. And for the height here, we'll make this parent.height. Okay. And what I like to do for headings is I like to make them bold or at least semi-bold. And then I don't think we need so much width on this. So let's do something like 80. Make it center aligned. And then for this, typically numbers, you want it to be right aligned. And we'll put in a little bit of right padding there. Very good. Okay, so we've got ID. And the next thing that we want to have is a patient. So I'll copy and paste that label there. And grab the name of this one. And for the X, we'll reference that previous heading, X plus its width. There we go. And then what we want to say here is patient. Yeah, we'll probably want to have it a little wider. Left justified. And then we'll copy and paste that label. Okay. And then for the X, we'll take the X of that label and the width. Very good. And then inside this, let's go look at the patient. Patient ID dot display name. Okay. Wow, there's a lot of Darrens in here. Okay. Do left justified. Okay. Now what we could do, instead of having Darren all the way down, is whenever we generated the code, the collection, the test data, something that we could have done we could do a is that there where we have a patient, and we could make this a filter, and then we say index, say rand between one and count rows. And I think what is going to help us out with this is if we put that into a collection, clear, collect, and we'll say COL, patients. So that will make it a little bit easier on us. In between the count rows of how many is in there. Okay. Yeah, that will look a bit better there. Okay. Fantastic. And I'll run on start. And here I can reference perhaps title. There we go. Patient 1, 2, 2, 1. So as you put more patients in the database table, you'll have more variety there.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's add in prescription. So I'm going to copy and paste that. And in this one, we will say prescription name. And then I'll want to use this previous label for the X. There we go. And we might want this to be a bit longer, like 260. And we will copy and paste that label. Grab the name of that heading. Yeah, it's drug. Here we go. Fantastic. Then we have issued by. Now, issued by, would that be the pharmacy?
Yeah.
The doctor?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. So I'm going to copy and paste that one. Grab this name. So say issued by. Oh yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mark. I misspelled prescription. Issued by. I will copy and paste that. Grab this one. Go back here. And then for here, we'll say doctor ID dot title. There you go. You're the doctor. Okay, issued by. Now we need an issue date. Okay, this one doesn't need to be so wide. Let's do something like 160 there. And then we will copy and paste that. And here we'll say issued, date issued. Okay. And then we have collected. Collected. And then something that would have been good for us to do when we generated that data. So we'll go down there. Let's create one here. Collected. And I will say we're in between 0 and 1. And let's try to put a Boolean value, typecast a Boolean. Does not like that. There we go. Okay. for this label, we will copy and paste that. And we'll go get the reference to that label. And we will go into the X, paste that there. Also set up the width. Okay. Collected. Okay. Now let me ask you a question. For collected, we could do all kinds of different things. We could say yes, no. We could have a little check mark if it's true and a blank if it's false. What would you like to do there?
I think yes or no.
Okay.
Would be brilliant.
Okay.
Brilliant. Yeah, collected yes, no. That's perfect.
Very good.
So just to be clear,
Mhm.
so this is just randomized generated data.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's feeding from the code that's under the app.
Yeah. So because we don't have any data right
Yeah.
now, I was thinking that would be a good idea. Also,
yeah.
think about any databases that we create. Well, you're going to have to recreate those in SharePoint, make sure there's data in there and all that type of stuff. If
Yeah.
I put code in there that generates data, now you don't have to worry about all that.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about you on Wednesday and,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
making
yeah,
this
yeah.
as
No, that's
smooth
brilliant.
for you as possible, you know?
Yeah, no, that's
So
brilliant.
very good. Okay. Is there anything else that you'd like to have modified on this screen?
I don't think so. No, that looks really good.
Great.
I don't think we need to worry about doing that last page. I think this is
Mhm.
yeah, above and beyond. This is brilliant.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And you're talking about this one right here, dashboard to show insights. Okay. And then yeah, there's your logos and your colors, and there's your ERD diagram. Okay, very good. Now, would you like to sort of step through this and make sure everything is working as expected?
Yeah, that'd be brilliant if we could.
Great. Okay, I'll go ahead and run this, and we'll click on one of these. So here we're logging on as a patient. So I'll say patient 01. Password is ... Login failed. Okay. Huh. ... Login. Oh, wow. Okay. So, patient 01 ... Oh, you know what? I need to use the email address.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah. So it looks like it's working as
Yeah.
intended. Now, what we should probably do here, there's something called a hint text. We could say email address so they're not confused like I was. All right, so I'll click login. There we go. We're going to collect a prescription from the locker. Okay. Let's go back to that screen. So on this one, we don't want to go back to the login screen. We want to go to the screen where we've got a QR code, I believe. Yeah, this one. Is that right? The screen?
Yeah. Yeah.
Very good. So I'll paste that there. Okay. Now this would be the point where they have the email, they scan the email, and then the locker opens. And then, all right, I'll go back home. Now let's log on as a staff member. And I'm going to type in here, Darren, niece.us, ... login. Okay. And we want to generate a prescription. And we need to go to the right screen on that. So here's a staff home screen. And we'll want to go to this screen, right?
Yeah.
click on that, and it goes here. Now we could search for a patient here. Now I'm going to do a search for Kenneth because he likes forms and he needs to be treated with medication. Let's say Butrin XR. The reason for the medication is energy. Treatment duration, we'll say a full year. The dose, let's say 60 milligrams. All right. Now, when this button is clicked, what screen should they go to?
What's it called? It's got the one that auto-populates the patient and the email.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think what it was called. The send QR generation and notification screen.
Okay, so it's the next one over. This one right here?
Yeah.
Very good. Good. Navigate.
So currently, those details don't save anywhere. But
you're right.
Yeah, grand. That's fine. So to get them to save, I would have to input a form in that to get them to save to a database to the.
Okay, so if you'd like to save this into a database, so the table that it should go ahead.
Yeah, we'll do it after now, but I'm just interested to know.
Okay, yeah. So the table that it would go into would be the prescription table, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go in here. And so what you'd end up wanting to do, we'll create, for each of your database tables, you want to create a SharePoint list. So we'll say prescription, create the table. And then we have the title. And we would add in a number. And this number would hold the patient ID. Then we'd add another number. And this would be the doctor ID. And then we'll add one for the drug. A date time for date issued. Start date, end date. Then we will have a number for issues total. And another number for the last one, which is issues taken. Okay, so there we've got all that data. Now we want to pull that in. It's called prescription. Okay, so we go over here to the data sources. We go add a SharePoint list. Let's see if I can find SharePoint. Nope. There it is. SharePoint. Click on the first one. And here we have MediPoint. Click on that. And now we got the prescription. So all we need to do whenever they click on this, there's a function called patch. Okay, and we'll patch into the prescription table. And since we want to create a new record, we'll use this defaults function in the table as a parameter there. So that will be the second parameter to the patch. And then we'll just specify all the fields. So let's say, for example, the patient ID. Okay. So the patient has been selected here. So I can use this CBO patient. Dot selected dot ID. Okay, so we could use that. And then we've got a doctor ID. And so when they click on this button and we add it to that table, how do we know what doctor to use?
They're the current signed in user.
Okay. Okay, very good. So
I don't know if you can pull that through. But yeah, it'd be the person that's signed in that's...
So we'll do a lookup on app user where the email equals. There's a function in Power Apps called user, and we could get at their email right there. And then we could just grab their ID out of that table. And that should work just fine. Now, I don't know. This type of argument, patient ID does not match expected number, found text. We look there, we should get email. No, that should be right. Now what we can do is say value. Value is a function that turns a string into a number. And ID. I wonder if it's complaining about this first one here. And it is. Okay. So the ID here, we'll need to do, I don't think we need the value function there. So we'll say CBO patient dot selected dot mail. Okay, and we'll look them up. There's the doctor ID. Let's go get, so the drug, we've got that right here. So we'll txt drug. And here we've got txt reason. And for this text box, txt duration. And then we also have dose. Move this up. Okay. So I'll say drug and txt drug.text. And then we've got date issued, and that will be the day that they click the button, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. We'll use now. And then the start date, will that be today as well?
Yeah.
Okay. And then the end date, that will be how many months out?
12. Put them on for a year.
12 months?
It varies, yeah.
Okay. So let's use ran between, it will be a number between 1 and 12?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Time units, months. Okay, there's the end date. And the issues total.
12.
12?
Yeah, we'll put 12, yeah, yeah.
Okay. And then we've got issues taken.
Random, between 1 and 3 again?
Ran between 1 and 3. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, so when we click on this button, it's going to add this record to the database, and then it's going to send us over to the send QR generation screen. Hold Okay, so I'm going to click on the button. There we go. It added it, and then it went over here. Okay, let's go look at the database and make sure that it actually added some data. Okay, now it didn't find a patient ID because the person that we looked for wasn't in there, which is no problem. What we could do, what we should do is, yeah, this is a great exercise. So all patients should be in that table. And then if they're not, then we'll put them in there. So we'll say, we'll do an if, and we'll say is blank on a lookup. And we do a lookup like right here. And let's do, yeah, an ID would be good for that. If it is blank, then we'll do a patch on the app user. Defaults, app user. Okay. Okay, so I do see a message by Mark. He says, when using a patch function, should we have a notification of a success and or failure? What do you say? How would you like that? Would you like a little message at the bottom? Say, hey, that was done successfully? Or,
yeah, that'd be amazing. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, great idea, Mark. Okay, so we're gonna add in a new user. Okay, and for the user, we just need some basic information. Okay, so we will put in here a title, and let's add in here, I think it's going to be the CBO selected display name. Okay, then we got email. So we'll use that dot mail. Now the password, we could put in 2 dots. In a real system, maybe we would generate a random password and then email that password to them so they would know it. And then we've got user type, and let's add in here patient. Okay, now this patch function returns the newly added record. So what I'm going to do is say update context, and we'll say LOC new patient, and we'll put this value in there. Good. So now for the patient ID, we don't have to look them up because we have them. .id. Okay. Now, if they were already there, I'll do an update context with the curly braces, LOC, new patient, and we'll do one of these. And that will give that to us. Okay. Now, I'm going to try this again. I'm going to click on this, which should add another record. And let's refresh here. Okay, so now we've got a patient ID. Now we don't have a doctor ID, so let's go look at that and try to figure out why it did not add that. So here we've got a doctor ID. We look up, okay, so I'm not a doctor. Perhaps we should know what we could do? We could almost do the same thing. So if they're on that screen, they should be a doctor. So we'll do a lookup here. Right there. And we'll call this LOC doctor. And the title will be user.fullname. And then we'll take the user.email. Password will be ... and then we'll have doctor here. So after you do this presentation for your dissertation, is there like the next step, or will you need to write this application, or is it just like a proof of concept and that was it?
No, just a proof of concept and then that's it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, very good. Okay, so then down here, I'll say locdoctor.id. Okay, so let's try this again. And I'll hit the button. And we'll go to the database. We'll do a refresh. So now we've got a doctor ID. Okay. Now we come to this screen. We got the patient details. And on this button, you want an email to go out, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's do that. In order to send out email, there is a connector Outlook, Office 365 Outlook, and one second here. And my ceiling fan was starting to get cold. All right, so inside of this, we can write some code, say Office 365 Outlook, and we can send an email. Okay. And I would imagine you want this patient email to be used. Okay, so we'll send an email to that person. And then we've got a subject line. What would you like to have put in the subject line?
Prescription collection ready or something. Yeah.
Okay, so there we go. And now we've got the body of the email. And I would imagine we need to put that, the image in there. So let me see. There's another parameter. And we probably want to carbon copy in whoever is the person clicking on the button so they know that the email was sent out.
Yeah.
Also for presentation purposes, you may not have access to the email box you're emailing out to. So you might want to put this in here, user email. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add an attachment. You think the best way of doing this? You could put HTML in here, src equals, and we'll use what we have on this other screen here. Okay. So we use that. Okay. There we go. So that will send them the image. Now, do you want anything else in the email besides the image?
No, for demonstration, it'd be fine. Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, let's test this out. I'm going to go ahead and click on this button. And I'll check my email and bring that email up. Oh, wow. There it is.
Amazing.
All right, what else do you want to do?
I don't know whether just to add a note on the like a success once the because you kind of see, but it doesn't look like it looks like it's doing something, but you don't get that reassurance.
Yeah. Now we've got
or just something to say sent or something like that. Just
okay. Yeah. Would you like a little green bar at the top that says successfully sent, or do you want to go to a different screen that says?
No, I think just a little
okay.
Just a little note to say sent would be
very good. Yeah, that's very easy. So what we'll do is go here and we'll say notify. Email successfully sent. And then we'll say notification type success, which will make it green. And how many seconds would you like that to stay open?
About 5 seconds.
All right, 5,000 milliseconds. All right. Now, something that I'll do is I'll bring that on top, and let's go find the spinner. Put that on top. I'll save, I'll run, I'll click on it again. There we go. Do you like that?
Oh, yeah, bro. That's really good. Yeah.
Great. All right, what else do you want to do?
I think that's it. If we just carry on flicking through. Is that all the pages that we've checked now?
Yeah, let's see here. We've got
connected.
There's the prescription list screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that actually is it.
Amazing. It looks so good.
Awesome.
Thank you. Yeah.
I'm glad you're happy with that. Very good. Would you like me to help you deploy this into your environment right now? So we make sure you're all ready for Wednesday.
Yeah, that'd be brilliant if we could. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I'm going to hit F12 to get a good file here downloaded. Now I'm going to email that to you. And then what you're going to need on your end is you're going to at least need these 2 database tables or these SharePoint lists. Do you already have those created?
No, I didn't. Sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, we can do those together. Now what I will do is I'll stop sharing my screen. I'll just turn off my, there we go. And then at the bottom, there's a little icon that looks like a screen with an up arrow. And
oh, yeah, share my screen.
Yeah.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah. Fantastic. All right.
Well, did you say you've emailed it?
So, yeah, I just did. It might take another 10 seconds or so, but should be coming through any moment now.
Do I want to save it rather than just download it, or? Yeah.
Yeah, I would go ahead and download it, let's say to your desktop or somewhere that you'll remember where you put it. So I do see a question by Justin. Would we want to place the call to the connector in an if error and only notify success if not error? That's actually a great idea. That's something that I would recommend doing, absolutely. And then the subsequent or store the output from the connector, call to a variable to check if there's an error before notifying. Yeah, that would actually make sense. Okay, so you've got the file downloaded, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then go ahead and minimize the email there, and we'll go back to Power Apps. Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna do something that's not so intuitive. It's sort of something weird that we do with Power Apps. I want you to create a new app. So do you see the the create over there on the side? Go ahead and click on create, and click on blank app, and click on the first item, the Canvas app, blank Canvas app, and we're gonna create a little throwaway app. So just type in anything you want to type in at all, and click create. And then once that loads up, we'll hit Control O on your keyboard. I'll probably want to get rid of that, but yeah, go ahead and click skip, and then hit Control O for open. Click on Browse, and then you'll want to go find the file that we have downloaded the MS app file to. And if it asks to save, say no. That's the old test app that you created. We
Don't
just create a
save.
little throw. Yeah, don't save. All right. So in this case, we'll click allow. Great. Okay, fantastic. So what we'll want to do here, let's go look at our SharePoint. We need to create those two SharePoint lists. So do you see the waffle in the upper left corner there, the 9 dots?
Yeah.
Yeah, right there. Yeah, click on that. And then click on SharePoint. That's right there in the middle. right. And do you have access to a SharePoint list where we could, I'm sorry, a SharePoint site that we could create lists in?
I don't know if there'd be. I don't know. Sorry,
It could
this is
be
all
any
work.
site that you've, yeah.
Could I create one?
Mm-hmm. Normally, yes. If you had permissions to do that, you would see an item up there like create a SharePoint site.
I could add it. This is a small team. I could add it against this.
Okay. Yeah, so go in there and then look for an item once that site loads up. It's called site contents. On the left side there, click on that. Yeah. Okay, very good. And you see at the top it says new. So we'll click on new and we'll say list. And then click on blank list. And here we'll say app users. Actually, I think it was called app user. Make sure we spell it the same way. Let me go check my SharePoint. Yeah, it's app user. Okay. Uncheck that show in navigation. You may not want that to be displayed on the side. And then click create. And once that list loads up, in the upper right corner, there's a little sprocket up there by a question mark. Click on the sprocket there. Do you see it? There you go. Yeah, click on that. And then we'll go into list settings. Very good. All right. So 3/4 of the way down, you see a little link at the bottom that says create column. So we'll create a column. We need to create one for email. Very good. And scroll all the way down and hit OK. Okay. And then we'll need to create one for password. And scroll down, hit OK. Then we'll need one for user type. And that's it. Yeah, scroll down, hit OK. So now we have all the fields for that. Now we'll want to, do you see on the left side that link site contents? We'll click on site contents again on the very left side there. And then we'll want to create a new list called prescription. And I would recommend unchecking that checkbox there. And once the list loads up, go up to the upper right corner, click on the sprocket again, and we'll go into list settings. So how soon before I'll need to start calling you doctor?
Just create column, do I?
Yeah. So we'll create one for patient ID. The dissertation, is that for your PhD?
No, just undergraduate.
Okay.
Does it matter has it got to match anything? The text, the name, or is it?
The name of it, yeah, I've got just patient ID, no spaces. Oh, you'll want to make it a number though.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, make it a number.
And
then
did you say something else? Add another column.
Yeah, we'll need to create a, we have a patient ID. Now we need a doctor ID, which will be a number as well. And then the next one will be drug. Single line of text. There you go.
Single line of text.
Yeah, single line of text. And then the next field that we'll add is date issued, no spaces, date and time.
Date and time.
Date and time. And then after that, we've got, okay, so we got date issued, start date, and end date. And then after those three date fields, we'll add issues total, which is a number.
Is it taken or given? Issues.
Taken. So we'll have one called issues total and then another one called issues taken. And those are the last two.
Well.
Great. So let's go back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll go over back over to Power Apps. And then go over to data sources there. And what you want to do is remove those two that I had in there before. So click on the little three dots there, the ellipsis, remove. And then, yeah, take out that. You got them both.
Do it.
Okay.
Add data.
Yeah. Go ahead and add. Yeah. And then, do you see down below it says connectors? You want to actually click on connectors and then click on SharePoint there. And do you see the SharePoint site there? Is that it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Great.
Was that the only two we added?
Yeah, those are the two that you created.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So
amazing.
You should be set up. Now, do you want to go through it and make sure everything's working right?
Yeah, should
Now,
we?
do realize for the app users, you might want to add in, well, it should add in you and the user. Okay. Um, yeah, let's go through the process.
So patient access.
Now, in order for us to log in, it's going to check that user SharePoint list, the app users. So let's go over to your SharePoint tab at the top, the browser tab, and click on Site Contents, and then go into App User. And click on Add New Item. Yeah, so type in your name or whatever, however you want to be represented there in the table.
I think I'll use my own details because when I demo
Mhm.
it, then I can receive an email. So
Sure, absolutely.
title is just
Yeah, we could use this as a full name or nickname or whatever you want to have in there. Very good.
I'm just going to put down. And I am a patient.
Okay.
While
Now,
we're
I'd
here,
recommend that you. Mhm. I'd
sorry.
recommend that you have one. I'm sorry. What?
Oh no, what were you going to say?
You want to have a record for each type of user. So you want to have a doctor in there. You want to have a patient, and then um, maybe a staff. Let's see what my code looks at. Okay. Very good. Now, click on that little X in the upper right corner. And then click on the login button because we need to change a little bit of code because we changed a little bit of logic after we wrote this code. And you see where it says staff? Let's put in where it says staff. It's like the 10th line of code. Yeah, right there. Double click on that and type in patient, capital P. And instead of an equal sign, let's do less than greater than.
Here.
Instead of the equal sign. You want to do the less than first. Yeah. Less than and the greater than. Okay. And I'm going to try to move us around so we can see a little bit better there. Okay. So what this is going to do, it's going to allow staff and it's going to allow doctors. Okay. So that's a good thing. Okay. So let's go ahead and run this. And so you see, yeah, hit the run button there. And then type in the email address for whom you'd like to log in as.
Yay.
Okay.
Also correct description. Grand. And then go back. So we've not done those. Just to go to staff site. Oh, amazing. Brill. So I need to add more patients.
So if you search for somebody in this combo box and then you click that button at the bottom, it will automatically add them as a patient. So that's going to sort of help you out. Yeah. So you want to click on.
Click on where, sorry?
You'll need to click on one.
Okay.
There you go. And then type in some sample data there for the medication and everything.
Better not start that. Brill.
You want to test out the QR code that should carbon.
I'll put
send a
mine
carbon.
in.
Okay, very good.
Sent.
There you go. Now, if you hit the home icon and on the left bar there, it should take you back home.
Oh, amazing, Brill.
Now, there's one last thing that I've seen on some of the screens. Go ahead and hit the X in the upper right corner. Yeah, and then get rid of the coding window, and then right-click on the menu. Yeah, and then go to reorder, bring to front. Very good. Now click on the tree view. You see how we've got our data sources selected. Click on the very top one there, which is the tree view. All right. So here on the home screen, let's go find an item called the spinner group. It's in the middle there. You see spinner group. Now, do you see the three dots? Click on the three dots there, and then go to reorder. You always want to make sure the spinner group is always at the top, but I always recommend making sure the menu's on top and then make sure the spinner's on top, because whenever you do something that has to do with the database or something, there's a little spinner that comes up, and if you add any controls, it usually gets on top of the spinner. So go ahead and collapse this. I want this to look really nice for your presentation, so we'll go ahead and collapse the home screen. Click on the second screen, the QR. Do you see your screen? Yeah, right there. Yeah, click on that one. Okay. Right click on the menu. Yeah, right there. And then reorder, bring to front. Okay. Now do you see the spinner group in the middle on the tree view? We'll bring that to the front. Reorder. Very good. Now let's collapse that screen and go to the third screen. All right. Right click on the menu. Bring that to the front. And then we'll go find the spinner. Bring that to the front. There you go. Go on to the next one. Very good. And then go find the spinner in the middle. Very good. Collapse that. And then click on the next screen there. Right click on the menu. So if you ever work on any of these screens and you add any controls, they're going to be on top of everything else. So this is something that you always need to do if you ever add anything to it. Very good. And I think you only have this one last screen, the prescription list screen.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Great. Yeah, you're welcome. Is there anything else you want to do? You want to rerun it again? Do you want to test anything out?
I don't think so. I'll sit and have a fiddle now.
Okay.
But yeah, it looks amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it's
you're
so
welcome.
good. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Well, this took about the amount of time that I thought it was going to take, about 3 hours. So
I
if you
know,
have any
yeah.
questions, yeah, if you have any questions before your presentation on Wednesday, don't hesitate to reach out to me. And I definitely want that presentation to go well for you. Otherwise,
Thank you.
yeah, thanks for making this a learning opportunity for my viewers there. I hope everybody enjoyed this, and this live stream will continue to be up. So if you ever want to go back to this live stream and watch any sections, you're more than welcome to do so. And
Well,
thanks so much for being a participant here.
brilliant. Thank you so much for all your help. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Right.
Have a great
Thanks.
weekend.
Bye. Bye. You too.
Bye bye. All right. Now, something I will do is
out of this. A comment or even a like really helps the channel and lets people like you know this is good content. Much appreciated. So you're going to like this video next. Let's see if they're right. Or you can select this playlist, which I've selected for you based on the content you're currently watching. Guys, gotta hurry. Click one of them. Otherwise,